everyone. Welcome to the MudRoom, our weekly free and live Uncommon Sense parenting class. How is everyone today? Happy belated Thanksgiving to my fellow Canucks. I hope you were all able to have an enjoyable holiday, even if it wasn't exactly the way that you'd wished that it was. I'm still finding my feet this week, to be honest. I feel like any military wife can probably relate. My husband's plans have changed like 6 times over the last week. And then all of that, will he be here? Won't he be here? Ended up with him staying put and going absolutely nowhere. So yay, we've got daddy home. But man, it has been a roller coaster of emotion for the last couple of days. So I'm just, a little bit discombobulated. But since he is staying home, I finally get to have an appointment to get my haircut tomorrow. I feel like if you watch the MudRooms from this year, you can see just a progression of my hair falling into disrepair. I haven't actually had a haircut in over a year. My last haircut wasn't since September 2019. And I mean, I'm not like a haircut every month kind of girl, but I do generally get it cut every 3 to 4 months. So I had an appointment, but then COVID hit, and then my hairdresser is also a work from home mom, so she didn't open back up right away, and then she was super busy, and then I got caught trying to coordinate a time that she had availability, and my husband was home trying to take care of the boys, and all that adds up to an absolute rat's nest of hair. So I am really looking forward to it. I think I'm gonna get like a foot cut off. We'll see. I'll show you next week. Okay, enough chat about my hair. Before we jump into today's topic, allow me to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Allana Robinson. I'm a parenting coach for parents of toddlers, preschoolers, and kindergartners. I help you understand why your children are misbehaving and how to fix it without yelling, shaming, or timeouts. I'm your host here on the MudRoom. I'm also the host of the Parenting Posse Facebook group, and I'm the creator of the Parentability program, where I help you raise well-behaved kids of your own. So if you're watching, please say hi. Let me know how it's going. If you're watching a replay, drop a replay in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us to reach more parents who need support. So, hey guys, I can see you. Let me know how it's going. Hold on, we've got something is flashing at me here, so I'm just going to figure out what that is. Hey, Maddie! 2nd week in a row, woohoo! Okay. Sorry, my computer's flashing something at me about Facebook, and I'm just going to make sure that you guys can actually hear me. Hey, Laura! Hey, Katie! Okay. Woo! Okay. I got it. We're good. I think. Okay. Alrighty. Let's just... Sorry, guys. What's going on here? Every once in a while, Facebook is really weird, and it's... What is going on? You guys can hear me, though. You guys can hear me and see me? Okay, people are commenting. So I just want to make sure that this is actually functioning properly. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. Facebook. Okay. Somebody says it's running fine, so that's good. Okay. Crap. Okay, some people say that they're just seeing lag. Some people say that they're just... Okay. Okay, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. Facebook just keeps flashing at me. So hopefully, okay. What's going on here? Okay, we're getting there. It's, I think, just refreshing. Okay. Okay. All right. I think we're okay. I think we're good. I'm just going to keep going. All right. So something that has been coming up a lot in the posse lately, which makes sense because most of us are around the 6th month mark in our kind of pseudo quarantine social distancing journey. So a lot of us are hitting a wall, so to speak, is how to deal with our kids when they say shit that hurts our feelings. How do we deal with mean words if we aren't punishing them? I find that even parents who are kind of old hats at this, kids do well if they can style of parenting, get caught up in this. Okay, Katie can hear me and see me. Talia can hear me and see me. Kelly can hear me and see me. Jen can. Okay. So I don't know why Facebook is flashing at me, but if I disappear, that's why. It's still flashing at me. But we're just going to keep going. Okay, so I find that parents who are old hats at this kids do well if they can style of parenting still get caught up in this. Because what did our parents do when we mouthed off to them? They sent us to our room, they told us we were brats, that they won't be spoken to that way, and they usually removed a privilege, right? But did that actually teach us not to call them names and swear at them? Not really. It taught us not to do it in front of their faces. It taught us that if we have big emotions that we don't know how to put a name to, we're going to be shunned and punished for it. So we'd better just keep it to ourselves and figure it out without help, right? And some of us did. Some of us did not. And that's why it's so triggering when our kids call us names or swear at us, because we generally weren't allowed to express those emotions. We feel shame because we were shamed for having those same emotions. And therefore, our instinct is to do exactly what was done to us and shut that shit down. But then we're just perpetuating this cycle of generational shame, and we're not raising our kids to be more emotionally resilient people. We're not teaching them how to deal with conflict constructively. We're not teaching them how to express their big emotions and process them. We're not teaching them how to collaboratively problem solve, so they aren't going to grow up to be adults who know how to do those things. And if we had adults who knew how to effectively do those things, I dare say that a lot of what ails society right now would be resolved in a favorable way. Maddie says, yes, the other day her two-year-old says, shut up, Dada, and I could not believe my ears. Yeah, right? It usually just kind of comes out of the ether. So how do we deal with it when our kids say these things that are mean, that are kind of rude, that just aren't socially acceptable? We need to empathize. Now, I know that this can feel really hard, especially when we start doing it, but it's a habit you have to consciously work on establishing at first, and then after a lot of practice, it becomes second nature. I now find it really jarring when I hear an adult dressing down a child for being rude or being mean, because that's not my instinct anymore. My instinct is to empathize now, to put myself in the child's shoes. And I do that by speaking to their emotions, not their words, okay? If a child says to me, you suck, I hate you, because, I don't know, I won't buy them ice cream at 5 p.m. lecturing them on why having ice cream right before dinner is unhealthy. I'm the adult and it's my job to keep them healthy and safe. Ice cream is a treat, not a right, etc., etc. That's just really a very roundabout and verbose way of saying, I'm the adult, you're the kid, and I don't care about your feelings or desires. You're not teaching them about making healthy choices because in order to learn from both the teacher and the student need to be regulated. In order to learn, both the teacher and the student need to be regulated. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. Both of you need to be calm. Because what do we know happens neurologically when we aren't calm? The part of our brain that uses reason turns off. We start using our limbic system, which has no reason and is highly emotional. So if you're trying to reason with your highly emotional child, you might as well be talking to a brick wall. It's not going in. Nothing is sticking. The only thing that is sticking are the feelings that you're making your child feel in that moment. And by lecturing them, dismissing them, and reasoning with them, all you're making them feel is shame. That's the one and only thing they take away from that interaction is shame. Later, when they do calm down and their neocortex comes back online, they might think about why they felt shame. But at that point, your words are gone. They're no longer there. It's just the antecedent that they had a want or a need and the consequence that they were shamed. So the takeaway is that when I express my desires, I get shamed. And that's not what we want them to learn. We want them to learn how to express their needs and desires, how to be patient, and how to consider the consequences of their desires and how those consequences have for other people. The consequences those have for other people, right? But they can't learn any of that when they're primarily using their limbic system because their limbic system has no reason. They're also 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. At best, they've been talking for a few years. They don't exactly have the most varied vocabulary, which is compounded by the fact that when we talk to kids about emotions, we generally just use 3. Sad, mad, happy. And we generally do that because we think it makes it simpler for them to master, and it does until they feel something that doesn't quite fit into one of those 3 boxes and they don't have the words to express it. The problem with emotions is that they exist in one part of our brain, our limbic system, and we need another part, our neocortex, to label them. You can't think about your emotions, you can't process them until you have a label for them. So they do what kids do best. They give it the old college try. They try out words that might work. They try out words that they've heard before that they don't really understand the meaning of, but they understand the tone in which they were said. So they might fit the bill. This is why when really young kids hear swear words, they can't help but repeat them. They don't understand the actual meaning, but they understand the emotion being put into them. And that's generally emotion that they don't have any other way of expressing yet. Your 3-year-old has no idea what it means to hate you, but they know that they've heard other people say it with a lot of pain in their voice, and that's how they feel right now. Your 6-year-old doesn't know what a fucker is, but when they've heard other people say it with a lot of angst in their voice and using a lot of force, and it makes other people upset, which makes them feel powerful. They use the words that they've got to try and express what they're feeling. We just need to teach them to use more appropriate words, more precise words than mad, sad, and happy. Hey, Nicola! Yay, Maddie's having an aha moment. Love it. Okay, so if they can't learn when they're primarily using their limbic system, and you need to teach them how to express themselves more appropriately, how can we get that neocortex back online? By validating their feelings, speaking to the emotions behind the words. Speak to the emotions, not the words. So if your 4-year-old says that you're mean and they hate you, empathize. You really want some ice cream. You're upset that I won't give it to you. You're not agreeing with them and giving them the ice cream, okay? Empathy doesn't mean acceptance. It just means that you understand what they're trying to say. Message received. You're recognizing the intent and you're leaving the vocabulary alone, okay? There's so much time for vocabulary building later. Right now, when they're hurling insults at you, you want to be focused on how they're feeling and giving them language that they can use to accurately reflect that. So for instance, when my oldest was 4, he would just scream, "No! Never!" anytime anybody suggested he do anything that wasn't his personal original idea, which, as you can imagine, got super old super fast. But I kept translating for him. I kept speaking to the emotion behind the words. You don't want to do that right now. And often I'd say it as he would if he could. So I'd speak from his perspective. So instead of saying, you don't want to do that right now, I'd say, no, mommy, I don't want to do that. Right? Saying it as he would if he could. And slowly but surely, he stopped screaming, no, never! And started saying, no, I don't want to do that. Or my current 4-year-old was on a real, I hate you kick for a while there. And we kept replacing it with, I'm upset with you right now. And after a few months, he started saying it himself. Mama, I'm upset with you. I want whatever it is that he wanted at any given moment. And by doing this, it gives you lots of space to introduce more new descriptive vocabulary. My oldest kindergarten teacher called me last year in absolute stitches because he came in and answered the question of, how are you today, with, oh, I'm just all discombobulated. And he learned that word because I've identified that feeling for him many, many times. And once they have more accurate words to describe how they're feeling, you'll notice that their emotions don't get so high so fast anymore. They can say, I'm feeling lonely, I'm feeling upset, I'm feeling wronged. And because they can express it, we can respond so much faster and much more constructively. We can help them solve the actual problem, which is way more constructive and helpful than teaching them that they have to stuff their big emotions down into a vault and never open it because adults don't care, and if I feel anything other than glee, I'm a bad person. Mean words are just that. They're just words. They're poor word choices. We need to look beyond the limits of a 4, 5, 6-year-old's vocabulary and teach them to express themselves more accurately, help them identify their emotions, help them solve the problems that they're trying to identify for us. Children who have a varied and strong emotional vocabulary and who are accustomed to adults... Sorry, my mouth got stuck on that. Who are accustomed to adults helping them solve problems, there we go, grow up to be much more stable, open, and articulate adults. And I think we can all agree that we could use a lot more of that in the future. Yay, Katie says so much truth. Yay, Janine says the pieces are starting to fit together. Awesome, I love it. Okay, so it sounds like this is making sense. Does this make sense? Can you see how when we approach children assuming that they're doing the best they can with the resources they have at that moment, we don't need to punish them? When we help them solve their problem and think critically and identify their emotions, the problems just gradually diminish until they disappear. That doesn't mean that they're going to stop having big emotions, but the big emotions stop controlling them. They become a lot easier to manage, which means that we can turn our attention to the solution. But it's not an easy habit to get into. It does take quite a bit of effort. So if you need some support with that, make sure you come and join us in the Parenting Posse to continue the conversation and get some support. Okay, Maddie says it makes sense. Nicola says it makes sense. Anime says she loves it when her kids correct her language. That's when you know you're getting it right, when they're helping you with the words and understanding that you've given them. Yes, that is the best. I actually had an experience like that just the other day where I was discombobulated. That was the only way to describe how I felt. I was just everywhere. And my almost 7-year-old, he'll be 7 in a month, came to me and he was like, Mom, slow down. You're just too discombobulated and it's stressing me out. And I was like, oh, my work here is done, right? It's so cool when they can then apply it back to you, but they can only get there. You can only hope to get there when they're 7, 8, 9, if when they're little, we do it for them, right? Eventually, they pick up what we're modeling and they start to do it too. But they can only get there if we teach them how to do it now when they're little. Nicola says, can you address post-kindergarten meltdowns? We actually have one about that from last year. So I'll, once I'm off here, I'll go and grab that link for you, Nicola, and post it for you. And strategies to help them self-regulate. That is not something that I can address on a 30-minute live stream. Every single person regulates differently. And that's what we teach you in Parentability, okay? In Parentability, we step by step walk you through figuring out what their stressors are, what their weak skills are, and how to create a routine and supports for them so that they stay regulated throughout the day. Okay? It's a very highly individual process, and it's something that does take quite a bit of effort and troubleshooting and observation and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So that is what we hold your hand through in Parentability. Megan says, interesting, gonna try it with my nieces. Yes, report back, let me know how it goes. Talia says she's having aha moments for sure now that her 3-year-old is repeating all the 6s, I hate yous. Question though, the 6-year-old has started saying, I want to die, I'm no good, etc. What's a quick phrase for that? It's triggering for me because her dad is very depressed. Okay, so again, speak to the emotions behind the words, right? I want to die. I feel like crap right now, is what she's trying to say. I don't feel well. I'm in a lot of pain and I want it to stop, right? That's the emotion behind the words. Try and identify. Think of it like translating for them, okay? They're coming at you in one language, and you're going to translate it into appropriate language for them. Does that make sense? Think of it like a translation kind of situation. You know, I'm no good. I don't feel like I'm doing very well at this. I feel like I'm failing and I don't know how to change that, right? Think of how she's feeling when she says those things and try and give her some more accurate language for that. Again, you're not agreeing with her. All you're doing is saying, I heard your message. And then you can keep going on with various strategies. Yes, okay. Nicholas says the translation analogy really helped. Yes. Think of it like a translation. They're coming at you in, curse, insult language, and you're going to translate it into useful English. Okay. Thanks for being here with me this afternoon. I'll see you again next week for another Uncommon Sense parenting class. And hopefully we won't have any tech issues next week. It's still flashing at me. I don't know what the issue is. But thank you for putting up with me. Thank you for sticking around. Bye.